Well, hey there, everybody. We are live, and I am here with none other than my good friend Ellie at Nourishment Redacted. Hi, Ellie. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. So excited to meet with you today.
Yes, we're
Like,
going to do a meeting with. You got to
yay!
get with the meat puns when you're on my channel for sure.
Just how I like it.
I love it. So, what I would love for you to do is start out, tell us about your health journey. And I hear you might have some pictures to show us.
I
But
do.
how did you get into this way of eating and what benefits have you noticed? And why don't you share that with us, please?
Sure. So, my health journey began with finding keto. I think a lot of people, including yourself,
Mhm.
find themselves dipping their toes in the lower carb lifestyle after so many years of counting my calories, emotional eating, um, struggling in the gym to like burn off the fat and try to be, like a healthy eater with low fat um and all those other things, restricting and all that stuff. And the truth is that it never worked, and my weight continued to go up and up and up. And I ended up, and I was like a pretty healthy weight throughout high school. And then after age 20, it just started going up. I'd say like maybe 10 pounds a year, or maybe more, depending on whatever was going on. And yeah, I ballooned up to 240 pounds on my 5'7" frame. And so I held it pretty well. I guess I'll show a picture if I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, Christy.
All good, all good.
Okay, present. I'll share my screen. This one. It's taking too long. I don't know, but so
There it
here's all
goes.
my
There it
pictures.
goes.
Here's all my pictures.
Okay. So
So
240-pound Ellie.
this is not working.
Oh, that's okay. Just talk.
I'm sorry
All
about that.
good. No worries. Oh,
Found it. So this
there
is
we
me.
go.
You can see a lot of inflammation in the lower half of my body, although it was everywhere. I had difficulty walking, moving. I suffered with depression, anxiety attacks. I had knee pain, and then I had a lot of skin issues with my rosacea. I had dandruff. I had bleeding gums. I had tinnitus in my left ear, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I probably forgot because I just
I
feel so
I don't
great.
I don't think I knew about that tinnitus, or else I forgot about it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely had tinnitus, and got it at a rock concert.
Mm.
And yeah, so that was me back then, and it was the worst thing about it all was that I couldn't control my emotional eating. I like every single emotion that I had, it was linked to food. I was really addicted to pasta and over consuming large volumes of food. And so I thought that the whole mantra of like eating a big salad and having those vegetables fill your stomach, and I thought that would be really helpful. But I also suffered from chronic constipation, and that chronic constipation, I'd probably empty my bowels like once or twice a month. And it was extremely painful every time I did it. It would be like a 5 to 6 hours of like, pain and having these labor like contractions. And now I don't wish that on anybody. It was
Mm-mm.
extremely painful. I never went to the doctor because I didn't care about myself. I didn't want to learn what was wrong with me, and and at times when I did go to the doctor, it was here's some depression medication. So I was on antidepressants for at least 5, 6 years, a slightly lower dose, but it didn't really help. And but even though I was having all of these health issues, I was working. I was going to school, getting my bachelor's degree in technical writing. And I was working as a nanny. I was working overnights, watching that one family, and then on the weekends watching another family of younger children. And so I was doing the thing. I was going to school. I was working. I have had a boyfriend who's my husband now, and I was really trying, really, really trying. And then everything kind of crashed while I was in school, and I started having disassociating. It's it's kind of so when I went to therapy for a short period of time, I learned that it was probably depersonalization disorder. And so depersonalization disorder is having out of body experiences, but you're having them. So it's not like you're completely gone. So the moment that that happened in college, I was sitting in the classroom, and then all of a sudden I looked down and I was feeling nervous, panicking because I was taking so many classes and I was just so overwhelmed. And I was looking down in my hands and I didn't recognize them. And then I started looking around and I felt like I was watching myself. I looked down and it's like, those are my legs, but they don't feel like my legs. And so you can only imagine what a nightmare that is, not recognizing who you are. And I started screaming in class. And I kind of, I left the classroom and I never went back. I dropped out of college. And it was a really sad time for me. I basically gave up on myself. I stopped bathing. I lived in my bed for 5 years is kind of like the tagline I use, because it's true. There was a 5-year period where I did nothing but stay home. And I wasted away. I tried to work. I got like a retail job. The kids I was watching, they got older, and I stopped watching them. And I tried to have a retail job, but I kept having these panic attacks, running into the back room and crying and crying. And eventually one day, I walked into work, and well, my knees buckled, and I was started screaming because my panic attacks were so debilitating, and I ended up quitting. And so, I just wasted away. And then I stumbled upon a video because I was so desperate to lose weight. I was like, I losing weight is going to make everything better. That's what I thought.
Mhm.
In some ways, it ended up being true, but the most important thing was my nutrition. And so I learned about nutrition through a video on YouTube. I wish I could remember her channel so I can shout her out, be like, thank you. But it was kind of
Mhm.
like a video that was like, I lost 90 pounds in 3 months or something crazy like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? And that's when I learned about the ketogenic way of eating. And she talked about the science of it. And it was really refreshing. And I thought to myself, I can eat burgers and bacon and feel good and lose weight.
Right?
Sign me up. So I did that. And I had, I'd say, pretty good success with that. And in 6 months, all of my ailments started disappearing. My depression was gone. I had lost 53 pounds. And so going from 240, I went to about like 190, right? So that was a pretty big deal for me. 195 maybe. And I was feeling fantastic. My constipation was gone, and all of my gums stopped bleeding. My tinnitus went away, and I felt like I was living for the first time in so many years. And then I my boyfriend became my fiance. We got married. He got the big boy job, and we're like, let's have a family. And I didn't even say I always forget this. My irregular periods, they were like anywhere from 45-day cycle to like 100-day cycle. It was extremely irregular, I would say. I probably had PCOS. I'm guessing I did, but no doctor diagnosed me, so I can't say that. And so with keto, I was able to get pregnant. And it was a wonderful time for me because I felt like I had purpose in life. And then I went to my doctor and I told her, I was like so excited to be like, I'm eating keto. And she looked at me and she said, you need to stop that right now. You're going to harm your baby. You need to stop. And what do you do when your doctor tells you that something you're doing is potentially dangerous? And the last thing you want to do is harm your baby, who is your new, like, um something that was finally guiding me towards some sort of purpose. And so I quit. And with quitting with that, very, very, very slowly, depression started coming back. And I had a high risk pregnancy. So they constantly wanted me to go in and get these scans. And this is during the pandemic too. So it was very, very stressful. I was constantly in and out of the hospital because they had to use a special machine to check her out. She ended up being healthy, but just very small. And so in hindsight, I'm like, come on, guys, really? You made me go so many times to the hospital to get checked her out. But she ended up being healthy, but very small. And being a new mom was, I bet they don't tell vegans to stop. Yeah, yeah, they probably don't. So then I became a mom, and that was difficult because she had colic and pandemic and all that stuff. And so my diet was horrible. It went back to the standard American way, and there was about 3 years of that. I had my son. He was nice and healthy though, thank God. And he was just right. He had a little small and then just right. And then fast forward, I learned about the carnivore diet through Dr. Jordan Peterson. I had previously loved his lectures and his book, and I wanted to try it out because this is the saddest part, is that I'm not pregnant anymore. I can't harm anyone but myself. So I said, I'm going to do it. And that's obviously so far from the truth from what we know now today. And so let me see if I can do a picture. Let me see if I can do this.
Let's try again. Maybe your computer will be faster this time. Technology. What are you going to do?
So this is me
There we
on
go.
day 1 of carnivore. I was 202 pounds. And I'd say I did pretty good with 2 pregnancies and eating standard American. I didn't gain it all back. Thank you. I'm glad that I didn't do that.
Yeah, you didn't go back up to 240. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see. And then I'll just show you a little. So I've been taking, no, let's fast forward. Okay, so I've been eating carnivore for almost 300 days now, and I am the happiest that I've ever been. My skin is clear, more clear anyway. Let me show you a picture of my skin. That's scary. Everyone, it's a little scary.
Yeah, I have something to say about rosacea after you show this.
So this was my face during carnivore, actually.
Mm.
So and I look great in all these pictures. Can you tell I'm so happy? So it's a video of me, and that's what I
Yeah.
was living with. It was extremely painful, very itchy, and I felt so ugly. I felt like a monster. That's what or like, I don't know. Yeah, did you want to?
Well, I just wanted to ask a question about that, and then I'm like, yeah, I'll share something. But was your face like that all the time, or did it go like that, like flare up like that, and then kind of calm down?
It was like that all the time. I mean,
Wow.
there was better days and worse. That was probably like the worst. I might have a picture of me. I feel like it's taking too long me finding pictures because I'm not organized.
You've got a giant pile of pictures, though. That's great. Hey, Bruce,
Yeah.
welcome. Bruce is listening while driving, so we get it, Bruce. We know you're here. Welcome.
Bruce, be safe. I'm glad you're here with us. Yeah, so here's another, like this is what my face could look like. So you saw that one.
Mm-hmm.
And these are like during the early days of carnivore. And I was just so desperate for anything because I felt like so much better with everything, but my rosacea was still kind of flared up. And, these things take time.
Yeah.
For sure.
So my husband went to the UFC fight, which was the other night in Anaheim, California. And he went with a friend of his who he hasn't really seen in a long time or talked to. And he was my husband's, standard American, like you guys know. And so he was kind of trying to decide, like, when we're going to go get food, like, are we going to go together or am I just going to go when I want to go? But this guy was just like, oh, I ate a bunch of food at home. Like, I'm not going to get food. My husband didn't think anything more about it. They went about their night, whatever. Anyways, the point of this story is then when his buddy's wife came to get him and they were kind of chatting as they were going to leave, it turns out that he and his wife have been doing carnivore for a month, Ellie.
Oh, how
And
exciting.
so, of course, my husband was like, well, my wife has a YouTube channel. And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, we could have them over. I'm like, I'll make them a picanha. Let's go. They probably don't know any other carnivores. So none of this
Cool.
has happened yet. I don't know if he's thrown the invitation out there, but what does this have to do with rosacea? She has rosacea. And
Okay.
she's trying to heal it with this as one of the things, as well as weight loss and some other things. I fully plan on telling her about your castor oil. So can you give me
Yes.
some more information about that? Like so I could be specific with her in case she hasn't heard of it. I'm super excited because these will be my first carnivores that I'll know in real life, you
Yeah,
guys.
that is really exciting. I've yet
Really
to meet any
exciting.
real I haven't met any real carnivores before
Yeah.
either. So yeah, a subscriber of mine, I had posted a short and I was like, I'm desperate. This has been 8 months in, and there's like better days and worse days, but sometimes the worst were just like before. So I was really struggling. And she told me in a comment, she said, try castor oil, put it on every single night after washing. So you wash your face with I use just Dove sensitive bar soap, nothing fancy. And then I pat it dry, just be gentle, like don't rub it. Don't ever rub your skin. You have rosacea. And then I just apply a generous amount of castor oil. Be wary that it will stain things. That's yet to happen to me. But if you don't feel comfortable doing it right before bed, maybe do it like while you're getting ready for bed, after the shower or something, and while you're brushing your teeth. And so it can have the chance to absorb. Um, I do have a picture. And so, yeah, you just apply it like once or twice a month. I mean, a day, excuse me. Once or twice a day. And hopefully
You know
she'll
what
start
they
to
need
see
to
some
invent?
benefit.
By they, I mean me. This is $1 million idea. They, whoever they is, like something that you could put, because I know Haley says all the time how she puts like Vaseline, but she knows she's going to get like hate for that.
Oh,
And
sure.
probably she should stop like as a layer over top. Cause you said it stains. If there was some kind of like mask type of thing
Oh,
that you could
yeah.
like put on over your face to like hold stuff to your face. And then so
Like
it
a
wouldn't
sheet
stain
mask.
so it wouldn't stain your pillowcases and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it definitely will.
Okay. So I'll let her know, use
Um,
her bad pillowcases or some old pillowcases.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, I didn't know that because it's something
Mhm.
I've wanted to try just for like my feet and stuff, but I haven't done it yet. So.
Yeah, I've had like chronic dry skin my whole life. That's something I totally forgot about until right now. Thank you for reminding me. And I've been, like I have ashy knees, like it's like full, they look like bruises, like full on ashy knees, and it's been helping my skin everywhere. So if she has dry skin too, it'll help.
Yeah.
Now if
That's why I
she's
want to try it
more,
on my feet.
yeah, if she's more of like an oily skin or combination skin, I'm not too sure because I just have myself, but I don't really know much more, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah, but somebody said it to you and you tried it. So like maybe she'll want to try it, or maybe carnivore will be enough for her. I don't really know
Yeah.
how much she knows or how much they know, because obviously, but my husband said it was weird because they were talking like all the things that I say were like coming out of their mouths. He was like, whoa, I heard it from somebody that wasn't you.
My wife's not crazy.
Yeah. Right.
Wow. This is like an actual thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it was
totally get
funny.
that.
It was funny when he told me the story. Hey, Barb Justice, can you give some more info about this? Or Ellie, maybe you
Yeah.
know. So make sure the castor oil is in a brown glass bottle. Is that for like because light maybe gets to it and that's bad? Or like, do you know about that?
I do know that you want to make sure that it's organic and there's a word. What is it? Like it's hex something proof. Like basically if it's in a plastic bottle, it might leach some chemicals into it. So a glass bottle would be ideal.
Okay.
And make sure it's organic and cold pressed. I forgot all those things. Yeah. Thank you,
See,
Barb,
these are
for
all
reminding
things
me.
these are all things I don't know. I feel like I wish I had a pen. I'll go back and watch this and write this stuff down.
Yeah, so it's definitely glass, cold pressed.
Yeah.
It's not too expensive.
Here it is. Hexane free. That's what you were
Thank
looking
you.
for, Ellie. Hexane free. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
And Susan
You're
also
welcome.
said that she uses some cheap pillowcases from Aldi and an eye mask.
Oh, okay.
So silk
Nice.
pillowcases. I've heard of silk pillowcases being good for not like causing problems with your hair and
Mhm.
skin and stuff. So I haven't
Absolutely.
tried them, but I've heard of it. And Susie says, I had issues with rosacea, allergies, and dry skin too. I'm using beef tallow as moisturizer and it helps.
Yeah, I used it for moisturizer as well, but then it wasn't getting any better, so I was like desperate. So I still use it for like little small dry spots or like on my lips mostly. It's like a balm. It's my lip balm. I have a giant jar. Like little ladies will come out and they'll have their cute little. No, I just.
You mean you're not delicate, Ellie? Come on.
No. No, I'm
That's
wide
so
shoulder.
funny.
I'm a
Yeah.
brick house.
Right? Love it. I love it. That reminded me when you said lip balm, it triggered. So you know how we had Grace on Lioness Lifestyle last week? So she really is sending me those books. Remember, she said, I have all these books. Well, on Instagram, she sent me a picture of 4 books. I forget which, there were 4 that she showed me. And I said, I want these 3. And I said, I will like Zelle you the money for shipping. And she said, oh, thank you. And I'll send you some of my tallow products for free. Like she's just throwing them in there. So I don't know. Wasn't that so nice of her? So I don't have them yet. When I get them, I'll do like a short or a little video. But yeah,
You're gonna text me and let me know.
Right. Well, I could ship you the books next, Ellie, if you want them. I think the price to ship them was like under $12. It was like $11 and some cents. So I just Zelled her the money, so it didn't cost her anything, to ship that stuff to me. And yeah, but she's just like, I didn't ask. She just very nicely like, I'll give you some tallow products. I was like, oh, that's so nice.
That is really, really nice.
Yeah, that's like stuff I wanted to try.
I would love to have your like third hand books. I would love it.
There'll be third hand books, but yeah, I'm with you on the minimalism. Like once I read the books, I don't want them laying around my house. Like they just take up space. That's why I do Kindle. Like if I'm going to do books, they're on my Kindle app. But these are just basically free to me to read and yeah, I'm excited about them.
Yay. What a nice thing.
Very nice. So I'm going to greet some of the people in chat, if that's okay. So Jay says, you two never stop. I'm exhausted just thinking about your schedules. Yeah, Jay, you're not wrong. But here's the thing. We do this thing in California that Ellie thought was really weird, and it's called President's Week. I think that's what it's called. I don't know if it has a name. I remember when I was a kid, it was like 2 3-day weekends at one point that we used to get for like Washington and Lincoln. And then they combined it and made it like 1 4-day weekend. And it was like that for a long time. And now it's like, let's just take a week off in February. Nobody really knows what to call it. Some people call it ski week. Some people call it President's Week. That's this week. So, Ellie and I were planning on going live already because I thought, what the heck? You know what? We've worked together for how many months now, Ellie, on Lioness Lifestyle, but I've never interviewed you. What was I thinking?
I don't know. I was actually going to make a joke when we first came out. I was like, it took you 8 months to get me on your show.
It sure did. 8 months. What's wrong
something
with
like
me?
That. I don't know. No,
I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. So anyway, but yeah, that's why and then I got Zoe Harcombe this morning. If you haven't watched that interview, she is a wealth of knowledge and fantastic. This is my favorite part of that whole interview. This is the sentence I wish I would have known when I was 18. Basically, I'm gonna try, I'll probably butcher it. I don't know the exact sentence, but she's talking about like the 3 macronutrients. And she's like, you don't need any carbs. Let's just start there. You need 0. But if you're going to get your energy from carbs and you're a woman, and let's say you need 2,000 calories, then about 500 of those calories and no more than that can come from carbs because that's all your body can use to burn. So Ellie, to your point earlier this morning, to your video earlier this morning, this might help you. So she said 500 calories. If your limit is 2,000, then 500 of that because your body can only do one thing with carbs, and that's burn them for energy. If you have fat or protein, it can use those for energy. Protein, not so easily. That's a last resort. But fat and protein can also be used for building blocks. Carbs cannot be used for building blocks. So you can only burn about 500 calories of carbs per day. And if you don't burn them, you're going to store them. So this whole thing about the dietary recommendations being 55% of your calories from carbs, well, obviously, if you're eating 2,000 calories, okay, that's a lot more than 500 calories. It's more than double. So more than half of that every single day, you're storing as fat. And so you could reduce your calories way down. You could reduce them to 1,000 calories. But if they're all carbs, do you see what I'm saying here? So it doesn't matter how few calories you eat. If you eat more than that 500 carbs that you can use for energy, you're going to store them all.
Wow.
And that's what, and I was like, if I had known that when I was 18, that would have solved so many issues for me.
Yeah.
So many issues. I thought that was fascinating.
That is fascinating.
And you need 0. She's like, you could do with 0. Some people feel great with 0. She's not carnivore. She grows veggies in her garden and she eats those along with a lot of meat. That's great for her. That works for her. She does say, like, the amount of carbs you need is 0. You can do it all with fat and protein, and that's just fine. But she said, if you're going to eat carbs, that's like the magic number that, because what happens is you only can burn them. You can't building block with them. And so you just store them. And then good luck trying to pull that back out. If you're just putting in more carbs, you're not going to pull that back out of storage. So you're just going to keep accumulating. Fantastic interview. I mean, that one just.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. That was a bunny trail. Susie says, hi all. Happy Monday.
Hi, Susie.
Brett. Hello, ladies. Hi, Brett. Welcome.
Hello. You got fingers. I don't know.
Hi, Deb. Nice to see you.
Hi, Deb.
Susan E is here. Hi, girls.
Hello.
Hi, Susan. And Darth Carnivore Charlie is here. Good evening.
Good evening,
hi, Charlie. Actually, would help if I went to the starred ones because then I could find the rest of them. Okay. So Renee is here saying, hi, everyone. So hi, Renee. Welcome in. And Brett is making or kind of has a question or a comment. Did you see that Dr. Chafee is on the cover of Women's World magazine? Going to go pick up a copy tomorrow. I did see that. It is a good idea to go pick up a copy just to support that effort.
So they know that this is a popular topic that people want to know more about, and it might intrigue someone, the company more. That'd be great.
Right. Absolutely. So, okay, let's see if I got behind on the chat now because that's what happens. You go through the starred ones, right, Ellie? And then you're like, I don't know. I've heard this before too. Have you tried this? Sorry, getting back to
yes, I have.
Wrapping. Have you done it yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
And I definitely want to do that. I have a hard enough time remembering just to put it on my face because I feel like so I definitely want to add that to it. And I've done putting it on my feet and then putting socks on, and that's helped horrible calluses. Like, you don't even want to know. Like, horror movie calluses become smooth. So it definitely works. I've also heard that it's really great for women who have lumps in their breasts, and it can help slowly over time diminish those lumps. But that's what I've heard.
I'll have to Google that because I have one that they did like an ultrasound on, and it's just like a benign little fluid filled cyst or whatever that's in there. So Susan E says that she uses a tallow soap with honey for my face. My dermatologist told me not to use any soap a few years ago. The tallow soap doesn't seem to upset my skin.
I'm glad you found something.
Yeah, absolutely. Carrie at My Metamorphosis has been sending me soap that her friend makes with lard and tallow. That stuff is great, just for free because she's nice like that. I wanted to buy some from her friend, but she's like, she just makes it as a hobby. She doesn't sell it. I'm like, okay, well. So she just will send that to me from time to time. It's so nice of her. Hey, look who's here. Paul Atkins, Temple, Texas. I love how you put that every time, Paul.
Yeah, he wants to find more people near him.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yes. Okay, so can we talk about a little bit more about the carnivore diet? And you I think when you decided to go carnivore, so you saw Jordan Peterson, you jumped in with both feet, I think. Did you just go cold turkey? And how long are you planning on doing carnivore? Was there a plan for that? Are you going to be carnivore for life? Are you going to bring in some other foods? What's the deal?
Those are all the big questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So technically this is my second round of carnivore. My first attempt, I couldn't even tell you. Like maybe it was like October 2022. I had done it for a couple of months, and that's when I didn't even talk about my family. Who am I? So
yeah, I want to get into that
know,
too, but I was going to wait a minute
because
I want to talk
wait.
about my son and what he's doing with that too. So yeah,
Sure,
we'll talk
absolutely.
family. We'll talk family.
So I started to carnivore, and I believed in so much that I had my 6-month-old son start with me. So he started eating carnivore with me. And then I had some, old slipping into old habits. Family came over, they brought us hors d'oeuvres, and all of a sudden I found myself cutting off a slice of bread and putting butter on it. And then my body rejected meat. It was like, no, we want that stuff again. And so I had meat intolerances for a while, and then I ate some bad meat in my fridge. It was just not fun. So that was a very short period of time where I was not eating anything but, whatever we're having in the house, but whole food, but I kept my son on it. And then I officially started my carnivore journey May, I believe it was, my phone tells me because I do what the cool people do and have a time. May 2nd. I started May 2nd of 2023. And what was the so my plans? My plan is
Like, what was your plan starting? Like, was it to go carnivore for life, or was it for a certain amount of time?
I wanted to see relief from my inflammation, my weight, my skin. I had these things on my list that I kind of shared with you earlier. And now I'm now down in my carnivore. I've, this time in carnivore, I've lost about, let's say, like 30 pounds, but I've also lost like 35 inches off my body. I've not weighed or measured myself in a couple of months. I might have lost more inches, but since then, I feel like I've like kind of tackled everything. Like all the things that I wanted to do, I kind of gotten to that point. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do carnivore, strict carnivore. I don't use any seasonings. I don't drink coffee. I just eat meat. And so I'm thinking about doing it for 1 full year. That was my long-winded answer. And I might slip into ketovore or keto. It depends. I kind of want to think of it as like a spectrum, like Dr. Berry shares with us. And I want to always be meat heavy. And if I don't know, I don't want to feel like I'm stuck in this way of eating, because I'm blessed to say that I am a healthy person, I think, or at least I hope I am. If I start eating, something else and it starts agitating me, obviously I will be, removing that. But so 1 year is the plan. And would I like to see more weight off? Sure. But I feel for the first time that I'm actually really happy, and I want to share something with you because I found this video of myself. I've shared it in some of my videos, but it's been a while. I don't know if you've ever seen this. So this is a video my husband took of me sleeping. I promise there's nothing weird in it, but you can see the my face, my hands, my wrists, my arms, how inflamed I am. And I was just miserable. It took me, this is probably like 11 o'clock in the morning. It's like I've been in bed for so long. And my husband, he made me some blueberry pancakes. And I'm looking at the food, I'm looking at him, and I just see myself looking like this. And it's so hard to think about, like, let me fast forward a little bit. It's so hard to think that this is what I looked like, This is how I lived my life. I let food like this control me, and I don't know. I was redacted. My nourishment was redacted, Christy. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You look very puffy, very puffy.
And then look at my eyes. when I eat this.
Mhm.
It's a drug.
Oh my
That's what it
gosh.
is. So it's like
Wow.
it's I have the I can look back now and just be like, there's so many people in this world that are just where we're just like me, and I just want to share that message of like you can change your life too. So I just wanted to share that video since I had gotten them for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic that you were willing to share that because that can't feel good to look back. I mean, in a sense it may because you can see all the progress you made, right? But
Yeah.
then it's like it's sad, I would think, to go back and remember yourself like that. It's sad for me to see you like that because
Yeah.
I only know you like this, you know?
Oh, you're so sweet. Stop it.
Oh no, Ellie, don't cry. It's okay.
That's so
I'm te-
sweet.
I'm teasing you because you always say how you used to just cry like in every video at the beginning of your channel.
Yeah, I was supposed to be called the crying carnivore,
Yeah.
but then I had a dream, and then this was my my time.
Yeah. That's so funny. Susan E says she owes us both the eye serum. Susan E, that will be
Oh,
so
you're so.
awesome to share that with us. I would love some.
Thank you so much.
Um, and yes, Brett, I've seen some pictures. So Brett got to meet Carrie from My Metamorphosis and John from Backwoods Carnivore last weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. Fantastic people. Yeah, those are two of my carnivore people. Well, and you three, Brett, but Carrie and John are awesome. I wish I was closer to Tennessee. And also Errol popped in. Hey, Errol, nice to see you.
Hey.
So let's talk carnivore and our families, Ellie, because we are kind of the same, but kind of different
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. So can you tell us? So you went carnivore. I know your husband eats this way too.
Yes.
Did you go in first and then pull him into it? Or how did that go? And then what about your kids?
So during the pandemic, let's say about a year into it, my husband started doing carnivore first,
Oh.
because he has ulcerative colitis, and he's been battling this disease for about 18 years, and it his doctors never told him about eating differently, and it was always he was just like me, an emotional eater, binge eater, whatever you want to call it, or binging tendencies, I should say. We were never diagnosed with any kind of eating disorder. Um, but so he started it, and he did it for about 9 months without seeing any flare-ups on his in his colon or with his ulcerative colitis, because of the pandemic, they weren't able to get his medicine for him. And so it was kind of a like do or die kind of situation, because my husband is on a immunosuppressant, that's the word, immunosuppressant, and he takes that about every 2 months. And so he did that, and he was able to go 9 full months without any kind of, like no flare ups whatsoever. But then he started having a little bit, because he's very far gone. Guys, I'm not kidding when I say that my husband has almost died 4 or 5 times in the hospital, blood transfusions, like his PIC line once got infected. Like there's a lot, hemorrhaging in the brain, like lots of stuff has happened to this poor man. So he started it first, and then I knew I had to do it eventually, and so that's when I did it the first time. I did it for a couple of months. I told you that story already. And then I got back in it, and he wasn't eating that way for a couple of months, but he was slowly tapering off. And then we kind of met, like all of us eating carnivore. So my son and I were both carnivore. My daughter and my husband were kind of trailing behind, slowly removing all the carbs and stuff. And now we're all pretty high meat based. There are meals that the kids will have if we go out. It's not carnivore, like at all. But I'm trying to find some kind of flexibility with it. But I'd say like 90% of the time we are carnivore. And there were a few months where we were strict carnivore, and I felt like, I wanted to be more flexible with them. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I knew that he sort of tried it first. So for those 9 months when he was carnivore and you weren't, like, how did that work? Like, did he cook other, because I think, does he cook, right? I mean, you
Yep.
cook too, but like,
Yeah.
so he cooked himself his carnivore food and then cooked you
Yeah,
non-carnivore food, or did you
he
just?
did lion diet, and he would just eat steak.
Ah,
He would have like 1 or 2 steaks a day, and that was it. And
okay.
he fasted a lot
Okay.
because he was just like he didn't want any
Well,
kind of
with ulcerative colitis, I imagine that's real. I mean, because people say like fasting, it gives your body a break. And I would think
yeah.
that that would be triply important for someone with
Yes,
something like that, right? To give that system a break.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, that's because right now, so my husband's standard American.
Mhm.
There's times when if I make something, he'll eat it too. Like I made a picanha day before yesterday, and then there were leftovers, and then I was heating some up for Zach, and then he was like, "Is there enough for me to have?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I already unthawed another one because I have this week off school, so I'll be making a picanha on a Tuesday, you guys. I don't have to wait all the way to Saturday."
That's true. I was gonna
So I'm
say.
very excited about that. But yeah, so there's occasionally, right? But like tonight I made the kids these chicken nuggets that I make them, and they liked them so much the first time. I had only used a pound of ground chicken. So this time I bought 2 pounds of ground chicken. I doubled it up, and my husband came in and he was like, "Oh, that smells great." I don't think he ate any though. I think he's in there, which I'm happy about, but he's in there making his own stuff. And yeah, because I do extra work like that because Zach, my youngest son, is now kind of eating this way with me.
So
Um,
exciting.
so I wanted to talk about the differences between transitioning like a younger kid versus transitioning an older kid. Can we talk about that for a minute? So your son was 6 months. Like he has no choices. He
No.
can't even tell you things
And
except
he's 8.
crying, maybe.
And
So
he's 17 months now. So he's been
okay.
eating this way since then. I
So
just want to
over
give that.
or
Yeah.
about a year. About a year.
Mhm.
So okay. So when you transition him, was it a drastic transition? Like what was he? Was he like just strictly breastfed and then you weaned him onto carnivore, or like what did that look like?
So, unfortunately, with both of my pregnancies, I had difficulty producing breast milk, and I completely blame my diet on that. I ate so much oatmeal. You wouldn't even like, I was probably made of oatmeal. And unfortunately, I would pump. I tried, so with him, we made goat milk formula that I made myself, and I got the best ingredients that I could, and I would make that for myself. I also pumped for the first 4 months until my milk was like, "Meh, you're done." So in a 24-hour period, I probably got 3 8-ounce bottles for my
Wow.
boy, and obviously that was not enough to sustain him. So I did have to substitute. And it happened that when I was doing carnivore, he just started to. That's when you start introducing foods. It's around that 6 month part,
Hmm.
6 month time. And so it was just the first foods he had. The first foods he had was eggs, and he had some steak, and he was just kind of sucking on it, like sucking the juices and stuff. Obviously, no teeth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever I ate, he ate. And we kept it very simple like that. And obviously, he was still drinking a lot of milk at that point. And then around the 1 year mark for him, he's just been eating solids ever since. And he has whole milk with like for breakfast and stuff like that too.
So
So it was
does
easy.
he do goat's milk anymore,
No, we
or
would
just
we
you do whole milk?
mm-hmm. Yeah, we
Okay.
do.
So there really, I feel like then there really wasn't a transition. He
No.
just basically weaned onto carnivore.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It
That's
is
really
cool.
cool.
It's cool that my son has been doing carnivore longer in succession than I have.
Yeah, right? Because you
That's crazy.
fell off and then started again. But he
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah, that's really
Round
cool.
2, fight.
I'm so glad we're friends because I want to watch this boy grow up and like see his milestones and his like all this stuff, his development. And
He's the
yeah, that's
strongest baby ever. He's
yeah.
goofy, and my friends say that he's a bull in a china shop. He's he's very strong. Like, I mean, he started walking at 9 months. He started rolling over at 3 months. So I feel like, I don't know.
Did he crawl before he walked?
No, he did crawl, but
That's what I want. It's very
no.
important that kids
Mhm.
crawl before they walk.
Yes, he did crawl.
because it develops the connection between your right and left hemispheres of your brain. So sometimes parents that might not know, they'll brag like, my kid never even crawled. And
Oh,
usually what happens is we're testing their kid for special education. And then we're like, we have to ask about their milestones.
absolutely.
So it's kind of a red flag if they don't crawl before they walk, because
No,
it's that
he definitely
cross body
crawled.
movement. Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. Very good.
Yeah, like he tries to move everything, climb up everything. You've seen pictures of him. He's just
Mhm.
like he's
Yeah.
built like
Well, I've
I don't
seen him
know.
just get up on that stool thing in your kitchen and like start
Yeah,
stirring some eggs and like I'm like, this is so good.
it's chaos over here.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Like I'm just barely teaching my 15-year-old, so you beat me by 14 years.
They have to learn eventually, right?
I'm like,
Okay.
you got to learn how to make this stuff for yourself so when you go out of the house, you're not totally useless.
Mm-hmm.
Mike says he's going to rule the world.
Oh, he's such a sweet boy.
Oh my
I
gosh.
just feel like he's gonna be that quiet, like serious type. Then he'll like be goofy when no one's looking, because that's kind of how he's like doing this thing now. Where he's like pretending to fall over. He's like, oh, and he's falling over. I'm like, I don't know.
He's goofy like his
He's
mama.
goofy.
You're sometimes goofy, Ellie. He got that from you. She's goofy sometimes. Um, so then talk to me about, so your son, it
Yeah.
wasn't really a transition. It was just
No.
weaning onto carnivore, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, how about your daughter? Because I know she was eating carbs. And yeah, I know by your face, it has not been as fun
Mm-mm.
or as easy of a time transitioning her. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Unfortunately, well, I could say so. My daughter's diet before was very limited. It was bananas, rice, pasta, sometimes chicken if it was in pasta, and she wouldn't touch any vegetables except sweet potato. And the transition for her was very slow, just kind of slowly like removing the food out of the house. So when it ran out, I didn't buy it again, and I would bring in another carnivore food. And are we still connected? Because
I
you're frozen on my end. I just wanted to make sure.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was still here. Do you want to? How about I remove you and put you back? Remove you. Hey, this is the Ellie Show. Welcome to Meeting Wellness. So
Am I
she's back.
fixed?
I see a black screen.
My internet.
Well, I can keep talking. At least I can hear you. Oh,
My
you're back.
internet
Oh.
is really slow. Like I'm getting okay, you can hear me. That's good. My internet is really slow, and I think it's because everyone's jumping on the internet and they're taking all of the internet. So okay, so yeah, but
Yeah,
now
you're
they
good
don't
now.
see. Oh, my picture's back.
You're good now.
Okay. 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 Good. Yeah. Everyone's jumped on. So my boys are gaming. My husband came home and turned on the TV, which we do through like the internet. It's not just like a
Mm-hmm.
cable. And so
Okay.
everyone's sucking down all of the bandwidth. Yes, Mike, bandwidth hogs. Yes, they know I'm live. How rude.
Mama's working.
That's all right. All right.
So,
I'm gonna close their tabs and hope that helps. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So your daughter.
yes. So it was take away like slowly. She would eat all the foods that were non-carnivore, and then I just would replenish them, and I would try to bring in more carbs. I mean, more meat, and so she still has a very limited palate, but the food she likes. But I'm really happy with her because she did not eat any meat before, practically, unless it was like covered in breadcrumbs and all that stuff. Um, I'm sorry.
You're never gonna get through your story because we got David and Mike in the chat, and they're gonna be cutting up, and that's what it is. I totally remember dial up with that noise. Yeah, I've got mail.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mike.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mike Shaw.
obviously
And
have to
David.
they want me to move on. Okay, so with my daughter, so she's eating ground beef now, so I can make those into meatballs or burgers. She eats bacon now, and she eats cheese. and cream cheese and butter. She just started eating butter again. There was a long butter strike. She did not want any butter. I know. Can you believe no hashtag bite butter? Come on.
That
And
is uncalled for.
I
Foul.
know, my poor girl. She'll have chicken broth, and so like for today's lunch, she had pork rinds and cream cheese, and she wouldn't touch her burger. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, meals are sometimes really rough with her. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want it. I can't force her to eat it, but I know that things that I am giving her are the best choices possible for her. And so, I hit my mic. That's a first. I'm sure a couple more times as I talk with my hands. So yeah, transitioning my daughter from standard American to carnivore has not been easy, but I would do it over and over and over again and fight the battle every day, knowing that there could be a future where she doesn't grow up, and my son too, they don't grow up to be obese, have depression, have rosacea, bleeding gums, snoring, ulcerative colitis. I mean, I didn't snore, but my husband does. And dry skin and everything else, brain fog. I didn't even talk about brain fog, tinnitus, like all these horrible things that happen to you when you don't eat the proper nutrition.
Yeah. Jay says his son eats butter by the spoonful. So my son, I have not tried that yet.
Yum.
Yet.
He
sees
my
me do
son
it.
does that.
He knows it's a thing. So we'll see.
He goes, buh, buh, buh. That's why he says butter.
That's so cute. Okay. So my son is 15. He is not, 3 or 1 or 6 months. And he went 15 years eating standard American. What I thought was generally healthy, although with his texture issues, with his sensory integration processing problems, texture is one of those issues. And so it was standard American, but like mostly smooth textures is what he'll do, or what he would do. That has been expanding some. He is still picky with textures. Like he'll eat bacon, but like not a piece of bacon. Like I put bacon in the chicken nuggets.
Okay.
But it was like chopped up. So if it's like leftover bacon, I mean, there's no leftover bacon. I make extra bacon on purpose so it could be left over so I could chop it up and put it in the chicken nuggets. Today I had to cook it up specially just to make the chicken nuggets because I hadn't made any bacon today, for other reasons. So, but yeah, so he'll eat it like that, right? And he will do meat now. I was shocked the first time he ate, like a piece of meat, like picanha that you have to cut up and eat, because that was just shocking. I was very happy at Thanksgiving when he ate that, like that pulled pork, the pork shoulder that was done in the crock pot. He wolfed that down. So I'd say those things are more his favorite, the things with the softer textures. He likes those, the pork shoulder, the beef roast, in the crock pot. But he does really like picanha. And then the chicken nuggets that I make. Now, the boy does a lot of dairy, but I'm not worried about that. Like I would much rather have him eat some cheese than macaroni and cheese, right? And so yes. I'm good with it. Like I'm fine with it. Plus for packing lunches for school, a lot of times it'll be like a sausage, like a Teton. It's fully cooked, but it's uncured and it's very clean, for sausage. It's grass-fed finished beef and everything. Sausage. He'll do one of those and some cheese, or not as clean, but some pepperoni and cheese. I also make him, JT at Poco Moonshine. He did like some carnivore pizza pockets. So like the mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, sausage. And then I still do like a little tablespoon of the marinara, the Rayo's marinara in there. And then maybe I can transition him over to like an Alfredo. We'll see.
Absolutely.
But that was the replacement for Hot Pockets. So I would way rather have him doing that than a Hot Pocket, right? So that's the little bit of the ketovore that's still in there. That little scoop of tomato sauce, when he'll do his carnivore pizza pockets, ketovore pizza pockets. And then he does do, so I make those protein pancakes. The Equip Prime Protein does have, it's beef isolate protein is like the main thing in there, but the vanilla flavor has some ketovore ingredients. I believe it's sweetened with stevia. both of them. Like tonight for dessert, for example, he had a hot chocolate made with the chocolate, which is like cocoa powder, stevia, and beef isolate protein, but in the other order. The beef isolate protein is the first ingredient, then the cocoa powder, then the stevia. And then some whipped cream that I just made myself with just some heavy cream. So I haven't taken his like dessert away, right? I've just like ketovored it or whatever. So we do it like that because he was like the hardest thing to give up is going to be ice cream. I mean, the boys, I don't even know how tall he is now. 5'7" now, about your height, I'd say, Ellie. So he's passed me up. And you know, I think he's under 110 pounds. So he's not, I mean, he's like thin like a rail, but the doctor doesn't say he's underweight. He's, you know, he's in the, I don't know, 30th or between the 30th and 50th percentile somewhere. So he's not even like on the very, very low end. It's just we're so used to seeing these chubby kids. Because everyone tells me that. His grandma tells me that. Like, not my mom, my mother-in-law. You know, that he needs to gain weight with this carnivore thing. Is he eating more because he's got to gain weight? And I'm like, he doesn't got to gain weight. But what I'm saying is he doesn't have a weight problem. And today I gave him, I think he asked for 7 chicken nuggets and he ate 6 and he didn't want the other one. So like, that's not my problem. If there's 7 chicken nuggets on my plate, I'm eating all 7. Yeah. Like I never put him in the clean plate club. That is one thing I did right. I feel
that was
even on Standard American.
That was my club. I grew up like that.
I grew up, you will eat it. If it's on your plate, you will eat it and you will sit there until you do. And I don't care if it's hours. So that's how I grew up.
Absolutely. And I won't lie. There was like in the first few months, I was like, I did that with the kids. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Don't do it to your children. It doesn't feel good to you or them. And it hurts your relationship in the process. I love that you're making these swaps for your son. And you know it's because you're setting a good example. He's seeing mama's doing it. He sees mama's change for the better and is doing so well. And so I think I love it. You know, if he wants to keep doing that tomato spoon or a couple tomato spoons, whatever, for the rest of his life, do it.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it because it's just so much better from like the mac and cheese and Hot Pockets and the other things that he, you know, would like to eat. I want to talk about what Dustin said. So should we find it strange that we must confirm how clean something we are eating is? Just a thought I had. You know why I did that, Dustin? You know, you're not wrong. You know, I can feed my son what I'm going to feed my son. I think I did it because on a video that I made, because I've been vlogging this, I've mostly just been talking about what I've noticed. Week 3, I'm not vlogging week 3 because I'm going to go live with him on Thursday because he is going to talk about it himself. But anyway, I've been showing like the things that I've made and for him, and then talking about what I've noticed and what he's told me that he's noticed on these vlogs that I've been making about it. And I got a comment that said something about be very careful about pepperoni because pepperoni is processed.
Wee woo, carnivore police.
Right. And so it's like, on the one hand, it's like maybe they really thought that I didn't know that. I know that, but I'm fine. I'm fine with the pepperoni. I'm really, when you consider what he was eating before versus the pepperoni, like that just doesn't, I get that, you know. I'd be happy eating picanha every single day and never have a pepperoni. But when you're 15 and you're used to eating regular pizza and Hot Pockets and macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets with the breading that are totally processed, and I agree with you, David, picanha is like a miracle food. I'm not going to switch him to picanha every day. He likes picanha. I was shocked after the first week. I said, what do you think your favorite food has been? And I thought he was going to say the pizza pockets. And he said the picanha was my favorite food.
I think you're related.
We might be related. There might be a connection there.
Wait,
but,
go ahead.
Anyway, to Dustin's point, yeah, I think that's why I said it. Because it's like, yeah, you're right, Dustin. But I think that's why I said it, just so people understand. Well, and maybe too, so they can try it. Like, because there are, I do read ingredients. There are cleaner sausages and less clean sausages. And the Teton one is one of the most clean ones I've found. And I'm happy. There are some sausages, like I would eat that one. There are some I wouldn't eat. And there are some that are so full of sugar, I wouldn't feed it to him either, you know? And so I think if people want an idea too, because that's when I was new and I didn't know the brands. I'm like, what brands are clean? What brands aren't?
Mhm.
I was happy when other people would mention that so that I could go try to see if I could find it in my area. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think that's a really good topic to talk about because, there are people who are doing carnivore because they want to see health benefits. And sometimes those additives and those ingredients and stuff, they can trigger, some kind of flare up. And so I think it's important that we call it out. But also at the same time, it is kind of funny how we always like kind of, say a hush hush. It's like, oh, we know it's not that great. But I think that in this case, this is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and we should celebrate it. If my daughter wanted pepperoni, I'd give it to her too. We eat an Italian sausage from Costco. It's cleaner ingredients, but there's a little sugar in it. I say it's fine. She's metabolically healthy. Christy's son is metabolically healthy, and we're just gonna feed them the best we can within the carnivore keto guidelines that we know have helped us.
Mm-hmm.
And we know you're not being mean, Dustin. We
Yeah,
know you're
we
so
know.
sweet.
Yeah, it just made me think. It made me think. I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, why did I say that? So I think for those reasons, because yep, I've been like, just be careful of that. I've been kind of, warned. And then also
Absolutely.
because people are new. I remember being new and like not knowing like the differences or what brands there even
Oh
were,
yeah.
what was available. So I did appreciate when people mentioned brands and then if they thought they were clean or whatever. I appreciated
Exactly.
that when I was learning. Um,
I think we all have to have some stepping stones. You have to step on, this like let me pull this. Yeah, Darth Carnivore says they just bought a mixer to make my own sausages. Still
ooh.
watching videos on how to do that. That's what we're doing too. We're
You
learning
do
how to
that,
make.
Ellie.
Yeah, I need to step up because we bought it. I've not used it. My husband's like, I bought this thing. Your daughter loves sausages. Make the sausages. So I need to step up my game and make sure that she's going to be getting what she likes and it's going to be clean and made by mama. So I'm so glad you're doing that too.
So I saw the video where you made a few. How were they? Like, I don't think I'm ever making my own sausages. Unless I come to your house, I'll eat some of the ones you made. But
Yeah, I would love to have
but
you over.
but how were they?
Um,
Those homemade
I
ones?
we enjoyed it. It was pretty good. We put a little bit of seasonings in there. We used some pork fat that we got from like a bodega down the street. It's a little Spanish supermarket.
Mhm.
And so I was just making with Ellie. I sure hope so. If I get good enough, I'll definitely make a video. Still working on the taste and stuff, but she ate it. That to me is a win. It's a win. So
Yeah,
that's it. That's
100%.
that's I need to get on that. My husband and I kind of not an argument, but he's like, I bought this thing. Come on,
Use it.
come on. I need to use it. So I
That's
think it's
funny.
fair.
So Mike said, "Did you do this, Ellie? When I was 15, I put like a half a cup of sugar in my giant bowl of Cheerios. Did you
No,
do that?" So my
no.
mom would not let me do that, but I did get to do that when we'd go to my grandparents' house because my grandparents lived far and we'd go there maybe once a year, twice a year, but we'd stay for like a week. Like in the summer or Christmas, we'd go because they lived all the way in Northern California. It was like an 8 or 10-hour drive or something. So we go and we'd stay for a week. And when I was there, because my Oma, they spoke German at home. I don't speak German, but I did call them Oma and Opa, which is German for grandma and grandpa.
Hmm.
So my Oma I can remember her curtailing my Opa's diet, telling all the things. I didn't say, I was going to bring this up today with Zoe, but I didn't end up getting around to it. But yeah, very into all the low fat. No, I'm not making you bacon and eggs, even though you grew up on a farm and that's what you want. You're going to eat this cereal because of your cholesterol and like with
Oh
this non-fat milk. And
no.
when I think about the way both of them passed, he ended up with prostate cancer, in which
Ooh,
metastasized, and that's what he died from
I'm so sad.
in 2009. Um, and seemed healthy. She was that older lady who was like, she was so cute. She had a pretty strong Austrian accent, a la Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
but she was like, I'm not going to be an old fuddy duddy. And she would run places, and she was thin and she was energetic. And then one day she just had a stroke, like out of nowhere, and died. And so when I think about, I know I listened to her as a kid talking about that because not for herself. I mean, she ate that way too. She was concerned about my Opa, right? And
Of
his,
course.
potential heart disease. And she was trying to do like lower the cholesterol and all that stuff that we're told, right? But anyway, my point is she still had one of those sugar because sugar wasn't bad, right? According whatever. So she had like this sugar thing, and when we were there, I could put all of that on my cereal that I wanted. And so because it was like I never got to do it, I put so much sugar on that cereal when I was there. Yeah, it was allowed
For me,
then.
I actually didn't have a sweet tooth. I mean, there was those what Entenmann pound cakes. I could eat a whole one like at age 6 or something like that. But for the most part, I actually didn't have that much of a sweet tooth. My sweet tooth came in when I was 19 years old, and I worked at Panera Bread. That was my first job right out of high school,
Mm.
and I was around it all the time. And I ended up being the person in the back, like baking and cooking and stuff like that. And when food went bad and they brought it to the back for me to write down and throw away, I wouldn't throw it away. I would eat it. And I was
Whoa.
hiding food and eating it. It was bad. I gained a lot of weight working in there.
Yeah.
So I definitely didn't have that sugar sweet tooth. I didn't eat candy during Halloween. My mom, it would sit in my closet and rot. My mom would take some pieces and it was my collection. So I think that for some people, sugar doesn't really, do much for them. And then after a while, it starts to kind of creep in if you allow it. So I don't know. I wanted to share that.
Yeah, when I was in college, I worked at like a frozen yogurt place. Do you remember like the
Yeah.
frozen yogurt craze, Ellie, and how everyone thought it was
Yeah,
healthy? It's like
I
ice
do.
cream, but it's healthy. Like everyone thought it was healthy. I
Mhm.
ate so much frozen yogurt, like so much because it's fat free or whatever, right?
I know.
So bad. But yeah, I had
I w-
access to it. Open access, and then the toppings. And I would take the granola topping because that one's healthy
oh,
with the chocolate chips and the but no, it's healthy. It's granola.
the
So
granola cancels out the chocolate
y-
chips.
yeah. And it's yogurt. It's yogurt. It's not bad for you. Oh, just the
I
thoughts.
know. I
Craziness.
know.
Okay, so Ellie, would you do me a favor and put up the Picanha banner, please?
Yeah, sure. I
Thanks.
am.
She's gonna do it.
Is this lioness? No, I'm just kidding.
Put it up there. Okay, now I got to go find all the Picanha comments because it was hilarious. So, because I was talking
Not a
about
picanha.
picanha and how my son likes picanha. So David said, "Yep, picanha is like a miracle food." And then a little bit later, if I can find it, I should have starred them, but I was like talking. So then he said, "My first picanha was awesome, so dang tasty. I almost cried when it was gone. That's how I feel like every Monday when it's gone because I make one on Saturday and now I share it with my son. I think I need to make two on Saturday now, you guys, because
Mm-hmm.
I share it with my son now." And sometimes my hubby gets in there, and then I only get one serving, and it's very sad.
That is so sad.
And then he said, the wife asked me, "Hey, why are you crying, Dave?" I said, "The pecan is gone, babe."
It's gone.
Gone.
I
Picanha.
know. It's better than ribeye. I say
It's
that. I don't
so
care.
good.
Cancel me.
And then Mike said the picanha cult is subcult within the carnivore cult. Oh my gosh, Mike, if there's a picanha cult, I think I'm the leader.
You got
So
me on it. If anything, you're my
right?
drug dealer because you got
See?
me on it. She's like, Ellie, get picanha. It's at Costco. Okay, I got it at Costco and I made
Mm-hmm.
it, and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Yep.
buy it. I wish we could buy it every week, but I look forward to it every single time. It's
Can
just
I
so
ask
cheesy.
you how much does it cost at your Costco?
It's like the same price you do. Like what? Like
Okay.
$7,
Yeah,
$8
yeah,
a pound.
okay. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, at Walmart it's like 8.79 here. Started at 7 and then it went up to
Yeah.
8.74. I don't know, one of those weird Walmart prices like 8.74. But anyway, so then I did get one at the grass finished beef ranch where I
Oh.
was, but I bought it cuz it was picanha, but you guys, they trimmed off like most of the fat cap.
Oh, boo.
But I know, but then it's like, but I just want to taste it. Because I just wanted to. So I wouldn't, it was expensive. It was almost double the price. I
Really?
just bought one and I just wanted to compare. I just did it because I just wanted to compare. But yeah, I ate a grass-fed, grass-finished ribeye today. I don't think I'm enjoying. I mean, that roast was really good. It just has a flavor. It's kind of leaning more towards lamb, and I don't like lamb, but it's not all the way there because I liked it okay. It was okay, but it's like I think the same farmer does grass-fed, grain-finished, and I think I might like when I get my half cow that's already ordered. It's grass-fed, grass-finished. But I think after this, I'm gonna stick with the grass-fed, grain-finished, but still support my local farmer who does things like sustainably and all of that, you know? So I think that's the conclusion that I've come to. I don't know why that roast was so delicious. Oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon taking down the banner. Okay. Carnivores.
Yay!
And Mike, for one, welcomes our new Picanha cult leaders. Gotta put the banner back up. So good. It's so good.
Christy and I will lead it. Christy's the head, and then I'll be the Picanha vice president.
There we go.
You'll be Picanha president.
So I gotta try beef bacon. That's on my carnivore to-do list.
Yeah.
Have you tried it, Ellie?
No, I have not.
So Brett says I found picanha at a butcher shop, but they wanted $16.99. That's ridiculous.
That's too high.
That's like double. I don't even think the grass-fed finished one was that much. I want to say it was $13 or $14 a pound from the ranch. But anyways, so he passed on it. But I did buy some beef bacon, and that was fantastic. So yeah, beef bacon's on my list of things that I want to try too. For sure.
Are we done with the picanha?
Yes.
Okay.
Sirloin tip roast from Aldi. Did it have a fat cap, or was it just when I eat sirloin, I have to eat it with a lot of butter, which doesn't make me sad because bite butter, right? But I just put a lot of butter in there. There's just not enough fat in that sirloin for me personally.
That I completely understand.
Yeah. Well, Ellie, it's been over an hour, and I think we may or may not, but definitely are going live tomorrow for Lioness Lifestyle, right?
Yeah, we are every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific.
So we've got to, we've got an awesome guest scheduled for tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope to see you guys back with us again tomorrow, same time as this one started. 5 p.m. for me, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll love to see you guys there. Thank you so much, Ellie, for coming on and talking about your carnivore journey with me. I think I even learned a new little factoid or two about you that I didn't know before. So I shouldn't have waited 8 months to interview you.
That's okay. I appreciate you taking the time to get to know me better and sharing my story with your channel. I want to encourage everyone to go eat some picanha, and we'll see you next time.
All right. We'll leave you with that. Bye, everybody.